we'd all please rise for the full salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm good, sweetie. I'm good. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell.
Here.
Councilman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zora.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Here. Please read the Sunshine Law into the record.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin board within the municipal building on December 29, 2023, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 29, 2023. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. We move to a very special part of our meeting where we have proclamations and presentations. We are delighted that our mayor is with us, as usual, to handle the presentations. The first, I believe we are doing Monroe Special Sports, Korean War defense veterans, Jewish war veterans. Charles Koppelman, please.
All right. So, first and foremost, good evening, everyone. Tis the season. I come to you in beautiful joy. I just performed 2 marriage ceremonies, so love is in the air, my friends. It's just a distinct honor, privilege, and I'm thrilled to wax poetic tonight about some individuals and some groups here in Monroe Township deserving of a little special accolade for what they've done as residents of Monroe Township. And we started this recognition about 1 or 2 years ago, and I'm glad that we can come together on a night like this and just recognize some beautiful, beautiful residents of Monroe Township. As the council president had mentioned, there's 3 presentations, proclamations, and I'm going to start with Mr. Charles Koppelman. You want to come up, Charlie? So, first of all, there's just some wonderful things with this man standing next to me. And I'm going to start with his beloved wife of 66 years, Fran. Fran, don't worry, you're going to get a proclamation next year for dealing with Charlie. I'm only kidding. I say that with love. So Charlie has lived in Concordia for 21 years now, happily married to Fran, and Charlie just recently celebrated his 90th birthday. What brings Charlie here tonight is his dedication to his friends, colleagues, and fellow community members, specifically regarding our veterans here in Monroe Township. As you may or may not know, we have veterans groups here in Monroe Township, but over the last couple of years now, we've brought all of these separate groups together to form a strong, unified body of Monroe Township veterans. And what we've seen here in Monroe Township is because of Charlie, right? I mean, Veterans Day events, Memorial Day events, so well attended now. Other community members now intrigued about the veterans, the stories, and what they bring. And I've always talked about our veterans as being as citizens with distinction in what they've done. So many events. And Charlie's been in the forefront in regarding that. Korean War defense veteran, past commander, life member, Korean War defense veterans, commander for the state of New Jersey, Jewish war veterans, life member, Concordia veterans. This is the essence of what Charlie does and who he is. Knights of Pythias, life member, Deborah Hospital Foundation, Concordia chapter president, Concordia Health Committee, past chairman Concordia Security Committee, past member Concordia Clubhouse Activities Committee. This is the essence. This is Monroe Township. The dedication to all of those organizations. But it takes somebody to say, I'll do it. And Charlie's that man. So, Charlie, this is the Volunteer Appreciation Award to you. In recognition of your humble service and dedication, thank you for going above and beyond, serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe and beyond. Never forget the difference you have made. With heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen Delina and the Monroe Township Council, December 18th, 2024. My friends, Charlie Koppelman. You want to say anything? You want to say a little something?
First of all, I want to start out saying what a wonderful town this is. That's number one. We came here 21 years ago and we love it. Next thing, I want to thank the mayor and council and the committee for presenting me with this award tonight. I don't want to take up more than the 5 minutes I was told. So I thank everybody that's here tonight, and I thank my wife. That's number one. Thank you.
Very good. We got a picture, Charlie? Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Bless you. And what we'll also do is, after the presentations, we'll call a quick recess. That way we'll get some larger pictures, or some pictures of some larger members and family members, friends. Okie dokie. Oh, boy. The Monroe Garden. 10 years ago, in business, they opened their doors. They opened the plots to grow beautiful things here in Monroe Township. And we're talking about growing things not from the soil, but the relationships and the friendships and the goodwill. And that's what brings this group here tonight. It's all about the growth of not only what comes from the ground, but what you've done for the community as well. Not only the plots, the greenhouse, certainly rated one of the top and I will say it. I believe it is the top community garden in this state of New Jersey for sure. Some numbers. We now give over 2,500 pounds of fresh vegetables to organizations and food pantries during the growing season. They sell over 2,500 vegetable plants. They have pure honey, which they bottle for private label and sell. The strong relationships that they've made, again, that emphasis about growing the relationships socially, but also with the community, are Cub Scouts as well, integral part, bringing all of Monroe together. What you may not know as well is them giving back to the town. Time and time again. The community garden has for the last 4 years been in a financial position to donate its earnings back to our police department, fire department, EMS department, and the community library. Giving back to the community. If you have not been there, my friends, please, you feel that community spirit when you go to our community garden. But it takes the people to do it. And for tonight, I would love to call upon our Monroe Township Community Garden to receive their award. Please come on up.
Stand on both sides. Both sides.
The photographer letting us go.
We gotta love each other.
Getting closer.
Joni, you.
Come on.
So the Volunteer Appreciation Award presented to the Friends of the Monroe Township Community Gardens. Len Baskin, Gary Busman, Jacqueline Coleman, John Jareski, Joel Greenberg, Jerry Levine, Joan Munster, Donald Pollitt, Robert Sibler. In recognition of your humble service and dedication, thank you for going above and beyond serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe. With heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen DeLina and the Monroe Township Council, December 18th, 2024. Let's hear it for him. Want to get a quick picture?
Yes.
Quick picture.
Hold the plaque up a little bit. I can't stand it.
Lenny, come here, Lenny.
Get in tight.
Didn't have to Met fan.
All right.
Yeah.
Good, good,
You got
good,
soda
good,
on
good.
it.
Hold it,
Sorry.
hold it. One more. Come on. Thank you.
Who's the keeper of the award?
Joel, of
There you
course.
go, my
Joel's a
friend.
man.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, good, baby. Love you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Love you, Lenny. Thank you. Thank you. All righty, my friend. Sue Reiser, why don't you come on up? A long time, my friend, a long time we've been together. Monroe Special Sports, the heart and soul of Monroe Special Sports. I won't say the face of Monroe Special Sports because I know it is the people, the young people who participate for sure. It started out with buddy ball, there's track stars, basketball pals, soccer stars, kings and queens of bowling, hosting Hope Fun Warriors Yoga, art on the go, special social outings throughout the year, Build-A-Bear, movies, pumpkin hunt, winter bowl day. I have 19 years doing this, so it's gone like that. Your ability to adapt and make it fun has led these athletes, these community members to greater things, so greater things in life. What you've instilled, and again, the recognition of your beautiful family as well, by your side all the time, at home, on the field, on the court. It's all about the kids, right? That's the saying. And what Sue has been able to accomplish with our neurodiverse, our special needs community members has just been amazing. I was lucky. When I was president of baseball, this is when buddy ball started, to be out there. And Sue, what happens on the field goes from person to generation. Personally speaking, my sons were assisting with buddy ball. And one day, they each were assigned a partner, and on the drive home, my oldest son cried because one of the boys didn't want to really participate. He wanted to go play on the playground, and he did. And my son had a Pokemon card, and he gave it to him. And all of a sudden, with that Pokemon card, the boy started talking to him. First time they talked the whole season. And it made my son cry, and obviously I'm a softie. It made me cry. I'm crying on the way home. What you have done, all the volunteers, has just been amazing, Sue. But now, not only the young people of Monroe, but adults with special needs as well, getting involved in programs. Again, what you've seen now, what you've seen here with Sue, my friends, this is Monroe Township. This is why we love Monroe Township. So, Sue, a volunteer award for appreciation to Susan Reiser in recognition of your humble service and dedication. Thank you for going above and beyond, well deserved, and serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe and beyond. Never forget the difference you have made. I won't. This is with heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen DeLina, the Township Council, December 18th, 2024. Congratulations, Sue. So much. Thank you. Yeah, of course.
As you all know by now, my name is Sue Reiser. When we first started these programs, we started with a handful of parents and a couple of special needs students who had been told, there's no place for you to play. We don't have the supports. We don't know how to do this. Come back, see us in a couple years, bring a plan. So a couple of us parents and the Baseball Association said, we need a field, we need kindness, and we need interaction. Buddy ball was never about hitting a ball. It was about coming to the park, getting out in the fresh air, meeting a new friend, and maybe moving 5 feet away from your caretaker. Because a lot of the special needs were not invited into the world and therefore didn't interact well. We started the buddy ball theory and we kept going with it. We have Special Olympic gold medal bowlers in our group, my personal family. We have coaches who have grown up in the program as teenage volunteers and gone on to get certified and become nurses in real life. We've had the grandkids involved in the programs. We've had Dawn do art on the go for our students as well. And now we have mix and mingle at the local library. So our adults grew up as children in the program and then grew into adults in the community. And the interaction is wonderful because most volunteers will say, I don't know how to play sports or I don't know how to deal with students. My first response is you have to be kind. That's all you need to do. You have to be kind. And we take care of all the rest. It's fun, it's not challenging, and we're always looking for more opportunities and more volunteers. I personally am thrilled to have gotten this plaque that I can't pick up off here. But I want to say a big thank you to my core team, my husband, Carl, my oldest son, Chris, my second son, Nick, my third son, Jonathan, my daughter, Rebecca, my daughter-in-law, Julia, my grandson, James, Ben, and Mikey, because they're so much a part of the program. When you come to visit, and you end up staying. Thank you again.
Much luck to you. I'm sorry, and my remiss about the photos. Would somebody from the garden please like to come up with a couple words? Joel, please. Couple words. Joel, that doesn't usually go together, but that's okay.
I'll keep it short. All in all, we have been very privileged, and I really want to thank the people behind me. These are the people that have made the garden what it is today. We might do the work, but you know what? Not one of them has ever said no to anything we ever asked for. That's important. And the township has really, really blossomed, and I give the mayor, I give the town council, I give the Department of Public Works, I give them all thank you from all of us. Thank you, Mayor.
Madam Council President, the gavel is back to you.
Thank you so much. As all of you noted on your agenda, a proclamation to Parker House on its 10th anniversary in the Township of Monroe was delivered to Parker House earlier in the week, and we are pleased to have them as part of our Monroe community. At this time, we would like to have a 5-minute recess so the families can all take pictures, folks, and we'll gavel back in 5 minutes. So please, let's do that. Alan, are you in charge? call to order. All of you are welcome to stay and join us for the rest of our meeting. Leaving is not a requirement. Move to item 6 on our agenda, which will the clerk please read the ordinance for second reading, 012, 2024-026.
Ordinance authorizing the acceptance of conservation easement from Brasusa Construction, Inc. on Block 37, Lot 12.
Item 7.
Resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda, R12, 2024-295 through R12, 2024-337.
Any members, all members of the council, please review. Any that you need removed to be voted on separately, please tell us now. God, we got a lot. Seeing and hearing none, we will now move on. We will move to the public comment section. A reminder that comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker, and they are limited to the agenda items only. May I have a motion to open the public comments?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward, stating your name and address for our record.
Good evening, Council President.
Good
George Gunkelman, 5 Kelly Court, Monroe. Item in the consent resolution 311 and 314. There are 2 engineering contracts. One is for the township and the other is for the utility department. Utility department is and has been for a long time part of the township. Why are we having separate contracts? Is it a specialty that's required or that the other firm doesn't have in place, or what's the motive for that?
If I can, Council
Mr.
President.
Weinberg, would you please comment?
Yeah, it's a specialty contract for water and sewer that's different from the township side.
Okay. And then in item 314 and 316, there's also separate engineering contracting or for water and sewer. Why?
Mr. Weinberg, continue, please.
Can, Council President. So the 314 and 315 are for the,
No, 316.
yep, I was just going to get to
Oh,
it.
okay, go
Sorry,
ahead.
314 and 315 are for the regular operations. And 316, if there's a capital project, the director can also solicit quotes for that project from any of the firms listed in 316 as well for a
Okay.
specific capital project.
Since you brought it up, why are 314 and 315 identical?
Council President, if I can, sorry. We decided to have 2 different engineering firms help us with both our water and sewer this year through our director. The amount last,
H2M and H3M?
sorry, R3M?
R3M and H2M. Sounds familiar, but they're 2 different things.
Two di-
R3M, H2M. 2 different companies.
2 different companies.
Oh, okay. A different door in the same office, looks like, you know. but-
Well, then,
Yeah, well, hey, it's all good. Item 322, I guess I don't understand well what a public agency compliance officer's role is, because it would appear to be, to an outsider that doesn't know, a conflict of interest. Can someone explain to me what it
Please,
is,
do
what
you
that
want- do
role
you
is,
wish-
and why it's not a conflict of interest?
Take your
Sure, if I can, sure. So every by statute, every town has to have a public agency compliance officer. It's required through the Department of Treasury. They can come out every year. They haven't come out. They just came out this past month. In the but before that, it was about 5 years. They ensure that we are meeting the EEOC requirements and the requirements in the law in terms of affirmative action and discrimination as part of our contracts that are in the statute. So when we go out to bidding, there are certain forms and requirements that need to be put in there per state guidelines. And we have to make sure that we're following those guidelines as part of the statute.
And that's different from what we normally do?
No, that's part of the local public contracts law. It's a requirement for all companies that do business with public entities.
Correct.
All of us. So my law firm, for instance, has to have a plan which is approved by the state. And when we do public bidding for lawyers, for instance, there is actually a provision in all of our contracts that require all of our vendors to have all of these certain forms in place. The compliance officer is the one who's technically responsible to the state, sits with them on whenever the state comes in once every 5 years probably and goes through it all with them.
Okay. Items 334, 335, 336, and 337. What are they and what are the amounts we're talking about here?
Turn again.
Sure, if I can. So 334 is a total of about 900,000. This is canceling capital fund grant receivable balances. That's where we had projects. They're going back a ways where there was a partnership with us and the county on a intersection improvement projects going back in some cases almost 20 years. The projects have closed out. We ended up not spending the amount of money that was necessary, so we're just sort of cleaning up the books for that and offset on money that we didn't spend. 335 is cancellation of water, sewer, utility reserve balances in the total amount of $3.3 million. So that'll move back into surplus. If I can keep going, Council President.
Please do.
Resolution 336 is cancellation of water sewer capital improvement fund authorization balances. That's bonds that have been issued but have not yet been spent. And again, those are older bond ordinances that once again we're sort of cleaning up. And then lastly, and that's on the utility side. And then lastly, 337 again is cleaning up some old bond ordinances that haven't been spent on the capital fund improvement side, and I call it the township side, the non-utility side, and that's for a total of $9.7 million on some ordinances going back as well.
So this is just a bookkeeping, housekeeping exercise by and large.
It's a housekeeping, but it's also a positive thing because it'll lower our debt that we have outstanding. It's like making sure, it'll lower the debt that we have available to us, even though we haven't drawn that, expended that debt.
And the auditors have treated that as debt until we move it.
It's because it's available to us to be spent. They're very happy about this.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward. Please, ma'am. Your name and address for our records, please.
Good evening, can you hear me? My voice. Lucio Panos, 1208C, Lindera Plaza, Monroe, New Jersey. George asked some of the questions that I was going to ask, so my time is short. 320. What is the rate of interest? It used to be 18%. I don't know if it still is. And what is the window of time before it goes up to a tax lien sale? The 322, the public compliance, is there a stipend for that? And that was it. George asked all the others.
Oh, look at that. Mr. Weinberg.
So 320, we set it based on the statute. I believe it's 8% for the first 1,500 that is owed. Then it can go up to 18% above 1,500, and then if it's over 10,000, it can go up to 6%. I believe it accrues after you're 10 days late after that quarter is done. Tax sale normally happens the year after. So if we have a tax sale this October, we would be selling amounts that are due from 2024. So you still can pay it in the year that you're in, and of course there's all kinds of notices associated with that before it happens. And then on 322, public agency compliance officer, there's no stipend.
No stipend.
No stipend.
No stipend.
When the tax sale does happen, or lien, or whatever you want to call it, a year later, it starts off at 18%?
It starts off at 8% for the first $1,500, 18% for everything over that, and everything over $10,000 is an additional 6%.
So could you explain that to the public? People get a lien on their property or something. So then a year later, it goes up for a tax sale, a lien. And if the lien, so give me that example when you broke it down of 8%, 5%. I just assumed, and I could be wrong, that a tax lien sale starts off at 18%. No matter what it was.
So no, the way it's calculated, it's 8% on the first 1,500, and on the delinquencies over 1,500, it's 18%, and then those over 10,000, there's an additional penalty of 6%.
So 24%.
4%, correct.
Wow. When do your tax sales take place?
They typically take place in October or November.
Okay, listen, thank you all. I hope you all have a nice holiday.
You as well. Anyone else wishing to come to us, please come forward now.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Anjan Karnati, 11 Preservation Drive, Monroe.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking about the resolution 334, 335, 336, 337. Just now I heard about that 9 point some millions. You put it back to surplus, or how does it work?
Sir, could you repeat the question, please?
The question is, this is the capital fund grant receivable balances. And next one is reserve balances. The next one is also same thing. Another one is
Okay, now I'm sorry.
improvement authorization.
Thank you.
So,
Right. So if I can, Council President. So on 334, when you cancel that, that actually comes out of your capital balance. So it's the opposite of going into surplus. It would theoretically come out of surplus because it's sort of a negative effect. 335 would, as I mentioned earlier, would go into surplus. And 336 and 37 are neutral because they're bond authorizations that haven't been spent yet. So they're kind of neutral. You haven't spent the money yet. It just lowers the amount of debt that you have out there in terms of available to yourself.
so how much do we have as of today, debt and surplus?
So on the township side, so if I can, Council
Please
President?
continue.
If I can, on the township side, our surplus, I believe, is about $15.1 million. And on the utility side, I want to say it's about maybe $2.7 million. And our outstanding debt, I don't have the exact number right now, but it would be about, I would say it'd be about $58 million in outstanding debt. So this would bring some of that down, although we are at times writing new notes as we do new projects as well.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And may I ask you about, additional question, because,
Have a little time left. Yes, sir, please.
yeah, because I want to request the Park and Recreation South Monroe, because we don't have anything, because it is not related to resolution.
It's not really.
It's not an
that's
agenda
at the
item
end of
for
the
this
meeting.
meeting. End of the meeting.
But
Don't
you
go
don't-
away. Come back at the end of the meeting and ask your
Because-
question.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Anyone else wishing to address us on this agenda items, please come forward now. Thank you.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. Thank you, Mr. Gunkelman, for sparking an interest in some of these resolutions. In terms of the Resolution 322, again, the resolution appointing public agency compliance officer, I don't think the question of conflict of interest was answered, but before you do, my thought is, and I believe I heard Mr. Weinberg say there was a stipend attached to that?
No, sir.
No stipend, so there's nothing additional.
Right.
But isn't that like a self-regulatory
No, ma'am.
position? No?
No,
What, then, can
no,
you explain the
it's-
difference?
Sure. So the state of New Jersey is the one that actually regulates the compliance. So they do that. The compliance officer is only that person designated to deal with the state on this issue. That's all.
So
it
when
is.
the state comes in to review things
They have to meet
for
with
the
Mr.
point
Weinberg.
man,
Correct. And Christine may want to help me out with this as well, because she sits in at the meeting with me. The Treasury Department comes in to do a full inspection, and we got a letter passing all the different items. They ask for certain documents. They don't tell you what they're going to ask for. They do an immediate inspection, and myself and Christine and Tanya have to provide those documents immediately to them, and they review them to make sure that everything that's in the statute we're following in terms of EEOC and the variety of oversight. I don't know,
Yeah,
Christine,
so it's
if
like
you want
it's like designating a custodian. So you designate, most places designate the business administrator because he's the one who is responsible for keeping all of the documents.
Right.
But the people actually responsible for enforcing compliance are the state of New Jersey, not us.
Okay. EEOC is,
Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. We use that euphemistically, but it really is, that's a federal agency, but it really is a state. This is a state part of
this
it.
designation have anything to do with compliance on disclosure forms for?
No, that's
Who regulates that?
we don't have an
town?
ethics board, correct?
No.
We don't have an ethics, but we are required to
the clerk.
fill in, so the clerk fills it.
That would be the clerk.
Do we have any outstanding officials that have not filled out their disclosure forms? And they should be posted on the state website, correct?
Council President, so it's not due until April 30th. For 2024, we had full compliance.
How about
So for 2025, it will come out,
Correct. It's
correct,
not
yes.
just-
2025
So we have
is
full
adopted.
compliance?
Yeah,
and
we had
we've
full
Full
compliance.
compliance maybe
Yes.
the last few years? No, yes?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, you're saying no? and
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear your
I know we
question
haven't had
completely.
anybody who was fined
Was delinquent in completing it.
in the last, certainly in the last 3 or 4 years, as far as I can
I
recall.
believe 2 or 3
I understand
years.
throughout the state, and I'm glad it doesn't have to do with Monroe, but with the time I have left, I understand that there are people who are under, that have not disclosed, have been fined, and they don't even pay the fine. So you're saying we're not in that situation?
They're not.
I mean, it's only our obligation to notify them when the state comes in, but last year, definitely, we did not get any
Exactly,
delinquents, because I do get notified.
Okay, you'll
And
get
I have to
notified on
reach
that.
out to them.
Okay, good, because
And
that's
we also would be,
been a
we'd also
problem.
be notified if, so it's technically it's a state ethics board
Right.
charge. We would be notified of that too, and we haven't been notified of any.
Well, but I know there's not good follow-up with the state when people have been fined, and fines just go unpaid, and these things go
We
untaken care of.
have all
Okay,
in
so
compliance,
But
so
it's not
therefore
us.
we don't have
It's not
fines.
us,
Not
good.
us.
Last, if I have time, there's a lot of things in the newspapers and
this
in
on
the
the,
media
is this
about.
on the
Oh,
on the
well,
agenda?
it's water and sewer. How do we do? No, it's serious. It's
About the water and sewer contract?
Well, it's about water and sewer and what we test for. Do we test for PFAS, and what do we do with that for drinking water, potable water?
If it's not on the agenda, we can
PFAS.
go.
Not on the agenda,
But
but
it's
we
all- is
can
it okay if
answer
we answer the
that. We
question?
can finish
Thank
that
you.
out.
It's a-
I've heard about PFAS before.
Sure, we all have.
It's
all have-
becoming very, very,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, there's testing
important to
standards.
know.
Joe, please.
The state has testing standards.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We test for PFAS every quarter. It's a requirement based on the Safe Drinking Water Act and our relationship with NJDEP
And how do we do in relation to that?
in full compliance.
We're in full compliance in
Yes,
terms
and
of,
in fact, we're in the midst right now, we did a pilot study for treatment because of the new EPA regulations that are coming in within the next 3 or 4 years where it goes down to 4 parts per trillion. Within 2025, we're actually going to build a brand-new treatment plant facility in 2 of our wells that we know have higher than 4 parts per trillion right now.
we do have wells higher for 4 parts per
Higher
trillion.
than 4 parts per trillion, but under, well, quite frankly, New Jersey has the toughest regulations for PFAS in the nation right now. Their regulatory limits are 13 and 14 parts per trillion. We're under that, but we are over the 4, so we're going to make sure that we are satisfying that.
I hope we really take care of that, because that seems
We
like.
do.
The forever chemicals, as they're called, and our drinking water is very
We're
important.
very
on it.
careful and always are.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Keith.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address us? Please confine yourself to the agenda items only. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to ask a motion to close public portion. Thank you. May I have a second on that? Second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Nay. Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting, the agenda meeting, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel. Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Thank you. Agenda meeting is adjourned. At which time was that?
It is 7:16.
Thank you. We're going to call the regular meeting to order. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of December 12th?
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that. Second, somebody.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meeting as written and presented, December 2nd, 2024, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have an ordinance for second reading, 012-2024-026. Ordinance authorizing the exception of conservation easement from Brashuas Construction, Inc. on Block 37, Lot 12, parenthetically saying 7 Union Hill Road. Would like to open a public hearing on that ordinance. Please, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Public hearing is open. Anyone wishing to address the council on that ordinance and that ordinance only, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Move to item 5. Yes, we do. We are at the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda. R12, 2024-295 through R12, 2024-337. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Councilman DePiero.
No.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Thank you. We'd like to move to our reports. Our first reporting individual is our administrator. Please, Mr. Weinberg.
Thank you very much, Council President.
Pleasure.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak. I do want to start off, and hopefully I won't be too long-winded, but I know that the mayor and council last night and today did receive probably about 8 or 9 emails from residents from the Stratford community and a couple other residents from across the township who were writing about 2 burglaries that had happened this month within the Stratford community, one attempted burglary that they noted as well. And I think it would be helpful for me to share the response that I wrote this afternoon. I'll also have copies of this for anyone, who would like a copy as well. I think it'll benefit in case folks are sort of here on that issue. So if you'll indulge me for what probably will take 3 minutes, I just would like to read the response because I think it would be helpful. So I appreciate that time. So I did send this letter to the 9 folks who had reached out to the mayor and council. So I'll just read it into the record so that, as we continue to discuss this throughout this evening. So thank you for your email. I appreciate the time to write to us. Any crime in the township is upsetting, especially to the victim. It is unnerving. It is an unnerving experience for those involved and their neighbors. Please know that the mayor and council and the police department are always working together to keep us as one of the safest communities in our state. I think it's very important to share the facts when it comes to public safety and crime. The Monroe Police Department has maintained crime statistics on their website for many years. The statistics can be found by visiting www.monroetownship.org/statistics-1. Again, that's in the letter. Please note that this link has been shared on numerous occasions, including previous volumes of the printed Monroe News, social media, and council meetings. These statistics come directly from the computer-aided dispatch system that helps law enforcement agencies manage and coordinate emergency response. Every call that comes into the police department headquarters is automatically logged. Last year, there were 50 burglaries in town. By comparison, and as noted in the letter that we received from residents, this year there were 32 burglaries as of November 30th. As of today, we stand at 36 to date. That is currently 14 less than the burglaries we had last year, but with still 2 weeks remaining in 2024. Our efforts are ongoing and constantly improving, but this year we will hopefully, we are trending in the right direction. When evaluating crime reports and statistics, it is helpful to examine data in neighboring municipalities and understand that no one is immune to crime. Monroe Township, however, is safer than most other municipalities in New Jersey. In fact, our burglary incidences referenced above are significantly less than other towns, including neighboring East Brunswick, who has experienced approximately 40% more burglaries this year as of November 30th than Monroe. Furthermore, motor vehicle thefts in Monroe have gone down from 30 in 2022 to 20 in 2023 to 10 as of November 30th in 2024. Again, that's one of the lowest auto theft rates per capita in the state. Our top rank in safety did not happen by accident. We have an incredibly professional, well-trained, experienced, and knowledgeable police department that notifies the public immediately when and if they determine there is a known danger. The police department reports on crime within the town as appropriate, as determined by the chief and the department's professional judgment, and shares those notifications on Nixle and/or social media. It is important to note that as information is sent to the public, it may also be seen by criminals. There is a fine balance of keeping the public informed and sharing intelligence with those who are aiming to commit crimes. As you mentioned when they wrote to us, there were 2 burglaries this month in Stratford, and the police chief has increased patrols in that area while also maintaining patrols for all of the township. The police department actively communicates between local, state, and federal agencies. Much of our success in keeping our incidents down is because of the active communication between local, county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, to address all crimes. The mayor and council have increased our police force to 70 officers, and we have invested significant funding in flock cameras, which have successfully deterred crime from taking place. They cover entrances to our communities and scan license plates to identify stolen vehicles and those with warrants. Our police department respond to these notifications in real time. The mayor advocated with the legislature to increase penalties on home burglaries. There's an article featured on the cover of the Monroe News, which is arriving this week in mailboxes. Following are some of the notable items from this recently signed legislation. Home invasions are now first-degree crimes punishable by 10 to 20 years terms, a fine of up to $200,000 or both. Residential burglaries are now second-degree crimes punishable by 5 to 10 years in prison, fines of up to $150,000 or both. Home invasions and burglaries are now subject to the No Early Release Act, which requires a convicted person to serve at least 85% of their prison term before parole eligibility. And convicted offenders who are 15 to 18-year-olds now face up to 20 years in state prison. Again, while any crime is alarming, the number of overall crimes in Monroe has been down in the last few years. It is important to look at the facts and note that according to the statistics from 2022 to 2024, overall incidents have decreased. There is not a growing frequency, and unfortunately, there will never be a time when crime rates drop to zero. The township responds to every resident's inquiry that we receive. We continue to hold regular crime prevention strategy workshops during the day and evening at different times throughout the year. In closing, I want to stress to the public that the public should continue their due diligence for reporting suspicious activity. It is equally important that we work together to help spread factual and accurate information in the interest of public safety. The entire administration has always been and will continue to be committed to serving you in the safest and most effective way possible. We understand your concerns and encourage you to share this information with your family, friends, and neighbors. I signed it myself, Alan Weinberg. So I thought it would be helpful to share that. Obviously, myself and members of the mayor and council, they can speak for themselves, take these issues seriously. I do think it's important to, look at the overall scheme of sort of where we are, because obviously if you've been personally a victim, it's a fairly intense experience, and certainly understand the frustration. But I think it's important to look at the data and for you to know some of the things that we're doing to try and grow the police force, use technology to really respond in real time as cars try and enter Monroe, and some of the things that we've done to try and drive crime down. I did make copies of this letter that I sent to the 8 or 9 people who emailed, and I'll be happy to hand them out at the end of the meeting and share with anyone who would like to make a copy of it. But I just wanted to share that in terms of as part of my report. The other thing I wanted to mention too is just pivoting a little bit from that important subject, that round 4 of affordable housing will begin in 2025. At our January 29th meeting, Monroe, like 340 other towns, will begin to set a number for the affordable housing units for round 4. We're in the process now with our consultants internally, looking at what the state put forth as a number that they put forth aspirationally, and the data that they put together. And as part of this legislation, we get to put forth the number that we think is right and the backup associated with that. And that's something we'll be presenting to the council for their approval on January 29th. Every town will do that of the 340 towns that are under this requirement. And then every town will have approximately 6 months. Once that's approved, the fair share housing could challenge that number. Other groups could certainly challenge that number that we put forth, but we get to put it forth first, and Lou will certainly correct me if I'm wrong. And then 6 months later, we'll develop the plan to implement that number if it's approved or goes unchallenged. So just want to put that out there as well. And then I mentioned that the Monroe News is coming out. So appreciate your time, Council President. Thank you.
Appreciate your report, and thank you for reading that letter into the record, because that way we certainly have people here in the audience and perhaps on YouTube, and that information gets more generally shared so that all of our residents become aware of what we do to keep all of us safe. Going to ask our engineer, who looks like it's quite Mr. Asmowitz, please.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President. Just one project to report on, the Inwood Estates Road Improvement Project. The construction has stopped for the winter and will be resuming in the springtime.
Yeah.
That's the only project to report on, and happy holidays.
Quiet night. We'll move to our council reports. Going to begin with our Ward 1 councilman, please.
Good evening, everyone. I've read the emails from the concerned citizens with the burglaries and the break-ins, and I think I can speak for the entire council that anything that we as council people can do to alleviate this problem with crime in Monroe, it's number one on our agenda for sure. Hearing that we're one of the safest towns, or if not the safest town in New Jersey, it doesn't give much solace to the people that have been broken into. I understand that, but every day the police station, police department rather, and our administration look into what more we can do to make this town even safer than it is. With that, I'd also like to just say happy holidays to everybody. I want to make this short. I wasn't going to say anything, but listening to the awards we have here tonight, it always amazes me how really great this town is and all the things that we do here. I'm relatively new in Monroe. I'm only here for 6 years, so every time an award's given out to someone that's been working for 21 years, it's really amazing. It's really fantastic. I just want to say that on December 26th at the Senior Center at 5 o'clock, there's a menorah lighting. I hope everybody shows up, not just our Jewish population, but it's a community presentation for everybody to get together. Once again, happy holidays, and I hope that it's a safe and happy time for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Ward 2 Councilwoman, please.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. Just a couple, I have a very brief update. I know we had a council meeting earlier this month, but as I think about the year, and I know I've been attending a lot of year-end meetings at work and reflect on all the work and things that we've accomplished this year. So thinking a little bit about the township too and what we've accomplished. Number one, we have amazing people that work in this town day in and day out to make sure our community is taken well care of and improving the quality of life for our residents. So a couple things that came to mind as we've done so much around open space preservation this year through grants and acquiring a lot of land, technology enhancements in our police department, as Mr. Weinberg mentioned, about license readers and flock cameras and all the other equipment to enhance that department. And through the collaboration with our county and state, we've received lots of grants and funding to improve our roads. So a lot of roads have been paved and traffic lights have been added. Enhancing our facilities, which is always priority throughout the town, our rec center, our senior center, or even our DPW site with the recycling yard. And all the work that our boards and commissions do throughout the year, bringing all kinds of programming, education, and services to the entire community. So thank everyone for all that they do throughout the year. And with that, I wish everyone a happy holiday season and a prosperous new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Ward 3 Councilman, please.
Thank you very much. I guess I'll start off with all the emails that we did receive in the past couple days from our residents in reference to the crimes and cars and theft and stuff like that. And I noticed that one of the emails, one of the residents attached a report from another town, East Brunswick. And it might be something helpful if I've been asking for our police department to do a police blotter. It might be something helpful to do a report similar, a monthly report. As Alan, you gave us all the details in your letter today. Thank you for that. It was very helpful. And but maybe it's something that we should put out there to our residents, a monthly report. I know our EMS does it on social media. Let everybody know what's going on. That we do have a solid police department, and it is a big town, 42 square miles. But maybe we can do stuff like Neighborhood Watch. We used to have that years ago, and our police department works hand in hand with. If you have cameras, please notify our police department to be part of their program to help. If there's crime or if there's anything suspicious in your neighborhood, by all means, no matter what it is, make the call, because no call is a bad call, because they need to do their job and they need to investigate and find out who these people are that are coming through our communities, because it's not people. My belief, living here for 64 years, my belief is it's not people that live here. It's people that are coming through our town to make it a bad community that they're used to in their communities. So our police staff is second to none. They're very good. We give them all the tools that they need, and they do a good job. 7/24, 365. All our first responders do. But I just think that we can get the message out a little bit better. It might be more beneficial for all our residents. And I know that our mayor and our council here is 100% behind our residents and behind our police department and our first responders. So as they mentioned before in the letter and the previous council, we do have flock cameras, and we have cameras, they have body cameras, they have all kinds of updated technology, but the crimes are still going to happen regardless. But we just have to let them know by your help, helping our staff and our police catch these people. The word's going to get out real fast, and they're going to stay out of our town. But that's what the best thing I can say is to help us. If you have cameras, notify our police department. There's a program to join with our police. It was really nice to see the 3 volunteers get appreciation from our mayor and council. It's very nice to see volunteers in our community do stuff to help our community. become better and better every day. My dad was in the Korean War. I mean, so I can relate to a lot of these volunteers. And my daughter's a special need teacher. And I can just say that for everybody that volunteers, I did mention it a couple times to our mayor and business administrator. There's a volunteer program in other towns like Manalapan. Maybe there's something that we can do to help our volunteers with a program to continue this, as our mayor said before, going back 3 or 4 years, we started really recognizing the volunteers a lot more. And if something that we can do to help a program to help all our volunteers, I can get that to you again, Alan. If you need it, Manalapan's a town that has a plan and a program. Maybe we could look into that as well. You mentioned affordable housing. We purchased a building. It's called the Meadowview Building. I went through some old emails and that you wrote to me and to the council in reference to hopefully getting 30 senior affordable units by getting funding by affordable trust funds, state and county, affordable housing grants and tax credits, and then an affordable housing nonprofit, I guess nonprofit builder, as we're doing similar to the Veterans Building, will run the facility. Are we in any? How are we on that project? Are we doing anything currently?
Well, I think that it's all part of our plan.
Your mic's off, Lou.
I think it's all part of our plan for the 4th round. So, I mean, lately, with regards to affordable housing, we're all focused on the January 31st deadline. And once that happens, we'll immediately get into mode about, I mean, I'm assuming this is one of the many projects that we're going to do, but we need to know how many units we need. And then we'll start to talk about how it is that we'll get to compliance. And part of that evaluation, Councilman, as you probably remember from the 3rd round, is we'll have to understand how much money we have in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, how much we can anticipate over the next 10 years. And then we can start that process of, figuring out how it is, how many units we can get at that site.
Right, because we made a $3 million investment to purchase that property initially, and I just, that's $100,000 a unit if we're looking at 30 units for credit. I just do the quick math, and I just say, let's. I'm not sure if we're working on it or if something that it's something that's going to come forward within the next 6 months. I just wanted to bring that up. I was going through one of Alan's old emails. 405 Spotswood Gravel Hill, the 2 oil tanks. I asked about it last meeting. What's the progress on that? Mark didn't give us an update.
Council President, the excuse me, the contractor and the LSRP are in the process of getting their permits from NJDEP for the removal of those tanks.
Okay. Do we know the cost yet?
We did have an estimate. Offhand, I don't have that number, but I could certainly reach out to you.
Could you just
that number?
let all of us, if you can let all of us know it, that would be appreciative to know what the cost would be. I know it's under budget. We're not. It's not a big change order, but I'd just like to know what the cost would be. No one said anything about our addition at the police department. Can we get an update? Where are we with the police department's addition?
Mr. Weinberg.
Sure. So, obviously, the expansion there is moving just a little bit slower than we would like. The project is scheduled to be was supposed to be scheduled to be completed towards the end of January. So probably at the end of our January meeting, we'll have a further update on how much longer it may take to get done, and we'll be getting some advice on, how we should handle that internally from council in terms of any delays that might be needed.
If percentage-wise, like what would you say we completion of completion? Like what percentage completion are we?
Council President, they're about 50 to 55% complete as of last week. However, in the past week, they've done quite a bit of paving, as you've probably seen out there. So there's been a lot of work going on in the last week. So probably closer to 60%. Roof trusses, which is a big part that you'll see, is coming the second week in January. So those roof trusses will be going up and then closing up the building at that time, and then they can work inside.
Thank you. Yesterday, Council President, I attended Parker House. It was Parker House at Monroe, 10-year anniversary. And I said this to Council President at the event, and I want to say it publicly. You know, it's a pleasure sitting up here when each and every one of us are. I'll say that we have a specialty, and Council President, you did a phenomenal job yesterday, and very proud to be part of this team because you knew people there, everybody. She was speaking before she did the proclamation. She spoke, and she connected with people, nurses there, and her career. And the building is like it's brand new for a 10-year-old building. That building, they keep it in incredible shape, and the staff was exceptional. We met doctors there. We met a lot of different people, and a resident that's 100 years young. We met her, and she was singing, and it was just a really great part to participate in, and I'm glad that I was there. And they're looking to expand. I guess they're working with Kevin on getting their fourth wing expansion for their zoning board. They showed me where they want to do that, and they showed me the plan while I was there. The charging stations, we have 2 out of 3 that are installed, and I was just wondering do we have a tentative date for the 3rd charging station?
Yeah, Council President.
Yes,
It'll be
please.
in January.
2025.
Yeah, 2025.
Yeah. Okay.
2025.
Just making sure. The cost was 106. The cost was 169,000, and we got a grant of 100,000. Are we charging any fees yet for anything, or?
Council President, yes, you voted on an ordinance to charge fee about 4 months ago.
Okay, but we are charging now, though.
I believe on the 2 that are open, but the one that's not open, we're not charging
Right.
for yet.
In 2025, January, we'll get it. So that's good. And another point I wanted to make out. The VA building, 1 Rossmore Drive, Suite 14. There's 80 units for our veterans, preferably all veterans. That's the way we would love to see that building filled. And the phone number is 609-378-1680. And I would ask that we can get that on our website if we don't have it already on there to help our veterans reach out to veterans in need for a facility. There's 80 units. They're 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units. It's a beautiful building. Most of us walked it, and I'm not sure when the ribbon cutting is, but I encourage everyone to come that gets invited, and it's an asset in our community. And the last thing I'd like to say is happy holidays to our mayor, council, staff, and our residents and families. Stay safe, and happy New Year to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Van Zer.
Thank you, Madam President.
My pleasure.
First of all, I would join in with everyone else to thank all of our volunteers that were honored tonight. All of them represent a different part of Monroe that helps to make Monroe the great town that it is. I am particularly partial to Sue Reiser. I'm the Rec Advisory Committee guy, and I've gotten to know Sue, and she's one of the most unassuming people you could meet. She's the kind of person who would not come up here looking for an award. She just wants to do the job to help all those people. And if you really think about it, this is really what could be one of the most forgotten groups in society. We have people who are special needs. Sometimes when they're children, there's funding for special needs children to help them reach a certain level. But then when they become adults, sometimes they almost get forgotten and lost in the shuffle. So all of these many programs you heard the mayor talk about, whether it be the buddy ball, the bowling, Special Olympics, arts, soccer, it goes on and on and on. And these are just programs that they came up with over and over again. A new program here, a new program there, the yoga they got involved, all of these things, and all volunteer. I mean, how much money would it cost to hire somebody to put together a program like this. So the amount of work that she does, along with all the other people who have gotten involved with it and also volunteer their time, it's priceless. So a big pat on the back for all of the people that were here today, but I especially wanted to say something nice about her. Quick thing on the subject of the burglaries. For what it may be worth, I would recommend the homeowners, if they can, if you're concerned about burglary, to perhaps videotape part of your house if you can, keep it somewhere, gather receipts in case you're burglarized. If you want to make a claim against your homeowner's insurance policy, they're going to be looking for proof of loss. So you'd like to have something to present to them if in fact that's the case. Hopefully this is not something that people are going to have to be going through, and I don't want to add to the hysteria of it, because I do think our police do a pretty good job, and hopefully this is just an aberration of what we really have. So, but just that little tidbit, if it could be helpful to people to lessen whatever loss they may have. What I do want to talk about, it's the end of the year. We just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, so I didn't really have a whole lot to say. But I wanted to talk about the holiday season itself. We had Diwali, a little earlier this year with the Festival of Lights and the things that you do. And all the holidays, to me, they're all about the traditions that each has. The Festival of Lights with Diwali. I understand they make lamps, and it seems like all of our holidays involve lighting candles somewhat. Kwanzaa involves candle lighting, exchanging gifts, something called Kumbah, which the more creative the gift, the better it is. The traditions that go along with Hanukkah, and this year we have Hanukkah and Christmas right at the same time. So the lighting of the Hanukkah candles, the dreidel, the cooking, the latkes, and the special things that you might have, the other special foods. They're all kind of a special thing. And I think back, my own family. And if I'm saying that stuff wrong, just correct
It's all right.
me. But
I didn't, never bothers me.
we had different things that we would do every year. Aside from the Christmas lights, we would make Christmas cookies every year, and it was a family tradition. My mother would make it, but everybody would help in. And special cookies that you made around the holidays, the cream cheese cookies with the lekvar and the other fillings that we would have with it. The idea of riding around Christmas Eve, looking at the lights. While we were out of the house on the lights, that's when they laid the presents under the tree, because we were all going out, to look for Santa. Always came somehow when we weren't home, but it was a tradition, and it gets to the point where the kids know that it's not really there, but who cares, because you're coming home and you're getting presents, and everything's lit up. Santa comes by, and there's just this special feeling in the air, whatever religion it is that you believe in. And what you really do is you become thankful. When you think back to those traditions, it reminds you of your family, it reminds you of your friends, and it helps you be grateful for each other. So comes back to the town we have, starting with the volunteers that we consider tonight, and considering the great town that we have here in Monroe. It makes you all thankful. So this is a time of season. Let's be thankful for what we have with our family, our friends, and thankful for each other and all the people we have in our town. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. For those that already celebrated Diwali, you already got your happies. And let me just say one more, Happy Festivus for the rest of us. So good luck to you all. Thanks.
Before I ask our mayor to share a few words, I'd like to add my wishes for everyone for a happy and a healthy holiday season, and for peace in our world. I like to tell people sometimes that I was very lucky, because my family had a tradition that every Christmas we went to the hospital for children with rheumatic fever, which was run by nuns in Long Island. And we would be there when there was shows. Perry Como used to come and sing, and my sister got to sing with him. I have no voice. But it was a wonderful opportunity to learn about caring and sharing, and indeed we did, so that you know that what the councilman said is true. We all share a commonality of belief and hopes for peace and a world that works really, really well. So with that note, I'm going to ask our mayor to please share a few words with us.
Thank you, Madam Council President. My holiday gift to you is I'll be short. Since our meeting was only about 2 weeks ago, I do want to make a comment in regards to the burglaries and the emails that we received and the information that we've received from our police, as well as a conversation with our council members. So as the leader of the team, right, I come from a recreational background, coaching. You let your home run hitter, bat fourth. You let your best soccer player, play forward, or goalie, depending on your philosophy. But it's all about letting the professionals do their job. And I have great faith in our police force. And I hope perhaps for those who may have, come in late, our business administrator gave a great synopsis, I think, in regards to what we've done, what's going on now, and potentially what we're going to do in the future. So please, after the meeting, come up and take a look. We printed it out. It really covers the essence of our philosophy, our team philosophy in regards to letting the professionals do their job, and there's been results. Now, again, it doesn't minimize what occurs. We don't live in a society where there's zero crime. This isn't science fiction like Minority Report. It happens, and it's horribly unfortunate. We've seen this, right? We've taken action. We have financially supported our police to protect the citizens in Monroe Township, increased the police force, investing in technology, flock cameras. The numbers have shown that they're working, and we will continue to do that. We will continue to support our police professionally and financially. Tonight, if you look in the agenda, 2 of the resolutions, majority vote, 4-1 in favor of upgrading the CAD software dispatch system, technology support, financially supporting the technology. 3 additional police cars. This is what we do. We are there to support our police, and the return on the investment is protection. Now again, crime, to experience it is difficult. We know, we hear, we understand, and we act. But we let our professionals do their job. Holiday parade, on another topic, went well earlier this month. We have our township menorah tree lighting on the 26th, as mentioned by Councilman Markell, at our senior center. Rabbi Z's having the large menorah lighting on that Sunday. For the JCP&L lights out on the street light out situation, we're all working together in that as a collective body, putting pressure on JCP&L, BPU, their governing body. Our police have been out there in regards to taking inventory of the lights out in the streets, so we're certainly working on that. As we segue to the holiday season, something very important to me is the mayor's toy drive, the police toy drive, and I just want to thank everyone who contributed, and I will end with a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and for all of you to have a blessed, prosperous new year. Thank you.
Thank you. We've moved to the public comment section. Remember that people have 5 minutes to speak. I'm going to ask for a motion to open the public comment section, please. And a second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. You'd like to address us, please come forward, stating your name and address for the record.
George Kunkelman, 5 Kelly Court. Council President,
Yes, sir.
I received some information in my email account about some grants that were extended in the county for preschool education, totaling $12.1 million. Carteret got 5.8, Dunellen got 3.46, Highland Park got 375,000, and Piscataway got 2.26 million. Preschool and kindergarten is one of probably the only area of what goes on in our township that is behind neighboring towns. And I don't know whose job it is to find these grants and apply for them, but it appears that we missed an opportunity. It says it's my information, it was part of a $42 million universal preschool facilities expansion grant. I assume that number was probably for the whole state. So how much was allocated to Middlesex? I don't know. So I'm not sure if this is the task of the township or of the school board to be tracking these things and taking advantage of it. But, you know, it's significant money that could help us. And we, in recent years, have struggled with funding our school system, obtaining support for new initiatives and whatnot. So, again, I don't know, so who should have been tracking that or how these other towns found out and we didn't, I'm not sure. But certainly our representatives were active in promoting this and getting support for it. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention is about the affordable housing and, you know, the more complete explanation that, you know, the end of January is kind of more of a kickoff than it is a final, but we're going to come up with a number. But and I'm not real sure about the language here. It talked about our internal consultants. Who are our internal consultants on affordable care, or affordable housing, rather?
Well, myself and our affordable housing planner, Jennifer Beam and Mr. Rasimovich.
And that's more oriented toward the legal compliance issues that are involved, or?
Well, obviously we have a planner because there's planning considerations here too. So remember the report by the state DCA is probably in and of itself a planning document. So, you know, obviously we have to work through the legal requirements of the law, but, you know, we're working through the planning elements of it also.
I would hope as we go forward in working out how we're going to address this next phase, that we would have a little more community information and maybe community involvement, because the effects on the schools and our taxes are rather dramatic, you know, particularly over time. And I, for one, would certainly like to know what the options are in how we address this as a municipality before we finalize any decisions next year. So that's all I wanted to say about those two topics. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir. the question from earlier, please. We still need your name and address for our records.
Thank you, Council President. My name is Anjan Karnati, 11 Preservation Drive. Thank you, Mayor and everybody. And the crime rate actually, Webinar said, is 33, 35, right? This year happened?
Please answer him, or the mayor, whatever.
Council President, sorry.
Yes.
So when I was talking about burglaries, and again, I'll hand this out at the end of the meeting, as of November 30th, there were 32. Last year, there were 50. As of today, including up through December 18th, we're at 36. So those are the numbers
As
that I
Mayor
shared.
said, it is not easy to make it zero. I understand totally. At least, is there any communication to alert, residents, so that something happened? If we get alert, we will be a little bit careful. And is that anything happening like that?
So, Council President, if I can. So on the link in here where you can see the past, I think, 7 years of crime data, which includes burglaries, you can see how many per month. And some months there's 2, some months there's 3, some months there might be 4, some months there might be 0. You rarely see any sort of major
Data is
spike.
on the website, is
Yep,
it not?
there's rarely
The
any.
data is always on the website.
Yes.
As of today, 34, you mentioned, right? How many are closed? How many are open still?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
How many are closed cases? How many are resolved?
That would
How
fall
many
within
still
the
open?
police department.
I don't have that information. I can certainly check with the police department on that in terms of how many are open and are closed.
I understand police department is very, very thankful whatever we are doing, here. They are doing their best and I trust them, I'm very confident they will do it, resolve these cases.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the second thing is affordable houses. Affordable house planning is going on, right? Is there anything location you identified so far?
No. Would you
No,
comment on the Affordable Housing Board?
no, we're not at that point yet.
So, just the council board is planning people are involving in identifying the location or any public also involving?
No, well, right now, we're not at that point where we're identifying locations. Where we are now is there's the two-step process here. Actually, it's a many-step, but the first step is for us to work with the state to establish what the number of affordable housing units is that will be required to build in the next 10 years.
Right.
And then probably, kicking off in February of this year, we'll then start talking about, how it is that we'll have to comply with that process.
So the reason I'm asking about, when you consider the planning, when you are doing planning, if you set the locations, if you share to public, that will be helpful because if it is coming in front of our neighborhood, and that will be a big problem. In center of the Monroe, example, if side we are very crowded, already you are putting a warehouse. I know Mayor, luckily, thankful to Mayor, he denied the application. Hopefully, we don't get that kind of things in future. At least we don't come, 2,000 people are working here and coming here and, everybody saying same thing. We don't want to do that. So I would really appreciate if you consider when you're considering the location, if you publish and then if you take the public opinion, and that would be better.
Understood.
Understood.
Thank you.
By all of us.
And third thing is, everybody is requesting about the parks and recreation on south side. So are you considering in next year in the budget?
Yeah, please,
Council
because
President,
it's
Mark
already
can add in. I think
under
we're-
our master plan, et cetera.
Right, we're working on a brand new playground that hopefully will begin soon, and picnic area over by the community garden. Mark is working on some design work for some additional pickleball courts over by the senior center, and we have a couple other projects that we're going to be moving forward that we identified in the master plan as well.
The reason is, we are bringing up to your attention, our children are playing on the road. They are biking, they are riding, cars are really all over the place. Especially, this is really, not safe because Monroe wants to be safe. I know Monroe is the safest city in New Jersey, but we want to be safe. That is not enough. I would really appreciate, and if you consider, constructing or, making a plan, parking and recreation, because we cannot we cannot go any park. We cannot go Thompson Park. We cannot go recreation center. Thompson Park is okay, but recreation really we have not been there. Very few, maybe 2-3 times I went there, but that's good actually. We are expecting our south side also something not like that big money and small parks at least to walk and to meet the people, to interact with the people, and to take our children to the playgrounds.
Appreciate it.
That is my request. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments. Next person who wishes, please, your name and address for our record, sir.
Pradeep Melam, 4 Jake Place, Monroe
Yes.
Township. So, Honorable Council President, Mayor, and other council members, I would like to start with the reiterating the famous Abraham Lincoln quote: "This is the government for the people, by the people, government of the people, by the people, and for the people." So today I stand here not to discuss about a pothole or a bad road, but to address a far more pressing issue that is griped our community by its roots. Even though the mayor and our business administrator has responded to that, but I will continue that. There is a big uptick in car thefts, home invasions, and burglaries in the recent past. These thieves are terrorizing our neighborhood, and it is imperative that we take personal responsibility to stop these thieves. They become so emboldened that flashing lights or motion sensing lights, sounds, sirens, it's not no more deterrent. They are not even like flinching their eye, or they're not even backstep while we are trying to deterrent them. We need a decisive action from MTPD and instill some fear in these thugs. Or else, I hope and pray that these home burglaries don't escalate into any confrontation situations. That's what I pray for this whole holidays. And this is my home and willing to fight for it. While I appreciate all the efforts from our police department, I would like to bump up their game and catch these culprits, or at least instill some fear that they should not try in our city. As this is not only affecting our town, there should be more collaboration between the surrounding towns, county officials, and state police. I hope the police are already working with them. Even if we need help from FBI, we can ask for them. And regarding the communication, I haven't got a single Nixel alert about any burglaries happened in November or December. Not on my phone, not on my wife's phone. And I don't see any apprehension of these thieves or any results that happened about these burglaries. Did somebody catch anybody? No, we don't know. Did they close any cases? We don't know. And while we are at this point, I want to ask, has any burglary happened to any politicians in this town so far, or any in adult community? Do we have the statistics that these burglaries happening in adult community so many and outside so many? Do we have that statistics? And I want to stand, Mr. Weinberg's stand, that you said you are publishing the stats in this Monroe newspaper. I don't find it here.
So I said,
not even on the PDF that is sent by the mayor's office. That is also doesn't contain
website.
any of those.
Hasn't come out. The website has all the data.
The website has all the data, but he mentioned in his speech that he published in this newsletter and the monthly mayor's newsletter.
It's about to come out. It hasn't come out
no,
yet.
let me just answer.
Go ahead.
Let him answer.
I want to read my exact words because I think that's helpful. What I said is that in previous editions of the Monroe News,
Yes.
we have put the scan code where it takes you right to it, and I can certainly give you copies of that. I don't think it was in this one because we hadn't gotten any.
No, we want like a detailed report because
Sir,
it is
sir,
like 6 pages.
please don't argue with him.
I was just trying to respond to your
Just
question.
let him respond to your question, and then you can continue.
Okay. So while we try to hold our ground and protect what is ours, I request the mayor and Monroe Township Police Department to reduce the $50 fee that is charging for firearm identification document to a nominal $5 or $2 that is pre-COVID rates, so that at least we residents can afford buy a couple of guns and keep us safe. So the situation in our neighborhood, and it becomes like that we have to wire our fences and we have to install the iron grills in our windows and lock and stay inside the house. That is the situation we are living in. I lived in Jersey City before I moving here for 8 years. There are some shady corners I don't want to pass in the night because of afraid of the mugging. Okay, but once I reach my home in Jersey City, I never feared not in a single night that somebody will come and knock my door and invade and steal anything. But here in Monroe, now we are locking in and putting the security alarm on, and then we are living in fear. While I'm not talking about just security, I'm talking about the essence of the community that we are living, peace and safe. That is all gone. And the rest of actions from you, I appreciate.
Sir, please don't. One of you come next. Your name and address for our records, please.
Hi, my name is Ganesh Mastula, Sadamastula. Address 283 Morning Glory Drive.
Thank you.
So I'm also reaching out the same thing, like reaching about the concerns about the burglaries happening in Stratford. So the reason is actually that there are multiple burglaries events happen the same week, and which is concerning. Like whatever the police patrolling which is happening right now, I don't think that's enough. We should do something more. So can I request the council to do something more so that we can do increased patrolling in around Stratford and also other communities. And it happened in Monroe. I'm from Monroe Manor, and I know that like maybe not this year or year before, there were like 2 or 3 nights where we saw like people walking in during the night time, and we were very, very scared. There was a event which happened next door in my community. Okay, the car keys were there, and then the theft happened. So those kind of things, when it happen, we are very afraid because it happens like frequently, right? Even the Stratford thing which happened, there were like 2 or 3 events which happened the same week. So what can we do to do more police patrolling during the night time? Because I don't think the current patrolling is enough. That's what my...
So we did, as I mentioned in the letter, we did increase patrols in Stratford.
Not during when these events happen, but then I think it should happen maybe like, I don't know I'm not scheduled, but it should happen like in a month, right? I mean, I haven't seen I'm not so up at night, but I don't see that patrolling happening, at least in my area. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Look, so the police look at the times that they happen. Not every one of them was overnight, right? So they have the times, and then they dispatch, and they certainly increase when they see 2 that happen in the same area within a week. Obviously, besides the 2 that happened at this time, the last one in the area of Stratford, besides there was one also in November, there was one in April. So 4 of the 36 that have happened within the town were in Stratford this year. So just to highlight the numbers that are, that we're dealing with throughout the town. Just to share some information, and is in terms of motor vehicle thefts, of the 10 motor vehicle thefts, we don't have in our CAD system, we have 0 motor vehicle thefts within Stratford. That means it hasn't been reported to us for the year 2024. So if there's someone here who has a motor vehicle theft, see me after the meeting, because we don't have it in our CAD system. So I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting, because right now we don't have that. We have attempted motor vehicle thefts, but we don't have anyone who successfully took one. So they analyze this data. There is no rhyme or reason when talking with the chief in terms of if you're averaging about 3 burglaries in town a month, and they're all in generally different places. It's unusual to see 2 in the same general neighborhood. Stratford has about 800 homes now, with another 100 being built. So to see 2 that are, only a couple blocks apart or a block and a half apart is unusual. So they usually step up their surveillance when they see that, especially if you haven't had one in a 7-month period. And it's an incredible feeling of violation when that happens, and scary in the neighborhood. There's no question about it. So they increase that. The flock cameras, we think, are a pretty big deterrent, not just to car thefts, but every time a car, right, this is not a secret, every time a car comes into Monroe, and in certain cases where it goes out, they're picking it up and they're flooding the area to try and drive those folks out with police presence to make sure they know they shouldn't be in the area.
I mean, that is okay, but then what's happening right now is people are walking, right? So I think they are just walking into the, I don't know where the car have parked and all that, but yeah.
So, I mean, they're not normally, well, I don't want to get into a debate on it. I'm not the police officer. So
a few things I had, like something not related to the burglaries, but like pickleball court, right? In pickleballs, I know like I was maybe this year earlier, a year ago, I said, you know what? Oh, there are pickleball courts are coming to Senior Center. Now also I see the same update. Do you have an exact, at least an estimate time when the pickleball courts are coming in?
Mr. Razamow, pickleball.
So the pickleball at the senior center, right now we're looking at 5 pickleball courts and some additional parking at the senior center.
Yeah.
So we just started the preliminary design work on that. So I don't have a date yet.
But timeline, like estimate timeline, like by next year at least we should have it, or like maybe
I'd like
later?
to get it out and under construction this year,
Yeah.
sometime later this year, or 2025.
Look forward for it during the summer then. There are few things which I
Finish because your time is up.
no. I think he took my time. A little
Oh, he
bit.
took your time. We'll give
I
you.
did take time.
Two
I
two
did take
things.
time
Two
answering
things. You did
questions.
take
I
time.
apologize.
I'll not take
I
much.
should ask first. I apologize.
I'll not take much of it. There were some residents who were like complaining about the JCPL upgrading the lights to LED. Then the township said, you know what, we're going to look into it. Is there something going on? Because I think that will definitely help.
Please, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, as I had mentioned, we as a collective body have reached out to JCP&L. We've also reached out to BPU, which is the governing body for JCP&L. And what's going to be happening probably in the next month or two, representatives from JCP&L is going to come to meet with us, 2 council members as well. And so that's what we're
Yeah,
working
we're
on.
not fixing the light, but upgrading to LED because that's what I'm more.
That is a topic.
can you
That
please
is certainly a topic.
One last was in the last council meeting, right? Maybe a month or 2 ago. I had a question from we have from Pennville Road, like on Union Valley Road to Pennville. When we're going from Pennville Road from Union Valley to the Pennville on Proximate Lane, right? It's a one lane when you're going to the school, and when we are coming back from Stop and Shop going back, right? It's a 2-lane. So I had mentioned the last time that you know what. It should probably a 2-lane because when going to school, it will be better, right, for people to go to the school, right, rather than coming back. Because when I usually don't drive with my daughter in the morning, but I see like that lane when I used to go, it was so backed up. So, I mean, it's just a suggestion if something can be done to improve it.
Council President, it's a county road, county jurisdiction, but I know there's restrictions on some of the land is state-owned, Green Acres land in that area.
No, I'm not saying to increase.
Sir, it is county land, is what he's saying.
I'm not saying to increase make it 2-lane. What I'm saying is it's a 2-lane coming back from Post of Stop and Shop to Union Valley. And from Union Valley to Post Office, it's a 1-lane. It should be other way around because we have school buses going in the morning. That's what I'm saying.
I'm ask you to wrap this up. This is county land, this is county roads, and we don't have jurisdiction over them. So it is not a matter of ours saying just go restripe the roads.
We can't even give a recommendation?
We may or may not, but I'm going to ask you to wrap up now. You're several minutes past your time. I
right,
know
okay.
there are other people who wish to
thank you.
address us, and we can even talk
Thank you,
when the
thank you.
meeting is over. Thank you, sir. Please. Your name and address for our records.
Sure, yeah. This is Raju Dantiluri, 11 Orchard Grove, Monroe, which is Stratford at Monroe community. And as you have seen, right, and so past 1 month, the incidents, again, the first and foremost, for any council, town council or mayor, right, what is more important than the safety and security of the citizens, right? That's the number one important thing. And what's happening in Stratford is last month, there's a burglary happened and they drove away with the car, actually in Shallow Drive. That actually happened last month. So they drove away with the car, and after 2-3 days, it was found in Bronx. So I don't know how Alan, he probably missed it. Yeah. So, but again, yeah. And then in the last 1 week, between 9th of December and 17th, yesterday, 3 burglaries happened, attempted, including attempted, 4. So 9th attempted burglary happened, and the neighbor was, so whatever, attempted burglary happened, it was not successful, and maybe, I think they broke into the house. They broke into the house, and the person is here today, and he woke up and shouted, and then they broke the window and came in. And so he woke up, he shouted, and then ran away. So they broke into the house, 9th. 14th, the people just went out for a few hours. So they broke in, and then it seems around 45 minutes they spent in the 21 Lexi. So burglary, they stole a lot of things. Burglary happened 14th. So 9th, they broke into the house when the people are inside at morning 4 a.m. 14th, they broke into the house. People were not there, I think, that time. But they spent 45 minutes luxury. Burglary happened. And 17th, which is yesterday, they did attempted burglary in 2 houses. The first attempted one house, didn't work out. Then tried another house. That also didn't work out, but the video cameras captured those people trying, in the ring cameras captured. So in a matter of 1 week, so 4 incidents happening. And suddenly, like residents, yesterday itself, 2 incidents happening. All the residents were just shocked. We're shocked, we're terrified, we're afraid. And now thinking every morning, we get up and then, first of all, morning people are not able to sleep properly. So like, or is this going to be my house? Like this is like, and then we are saying, like, we install a lot of cameras, license plate readers, nothing is working. We didn't hear about anything being caught. And the fact that these people are coming repeatedly again and again, in 3 times in 1 week, they're thinking, oh, it's easy. We can go, do it, nothing happens. It's easy. Go to Stratford, do burglary, or attempt a burglary, nothing happens. So the first time it happened on 9th, and the last month successfully that took a burglary happened, and they went away with a vehicle. And then this month again, within 1 month, another burglary happened 9. That, I think, that is the time. Stratford being 800 residents place, one of the biggest places, you could have put a patrolling, active patrolling every day. Didn't happen. 14th it happened. 40 minutes the burglars went inside and did a lot of burglary. That is the time, that is the same night, immediately, would have put cops would have been like, okay, one dedicated cop, because this is a very big community, and 2 incidents happening within 5 days. And also another burglary happened with a car stolen last month. It could have been done. Again, 2 years back, similar incident happened, 2-3 random incidents when we had a meeting with the mayor and the police chief. They were very cooperative. We still like them. We still hope they will, and you are there too. Yeah. So yeah, we still hope they can as well. But right now, you people give a lot of reports saying we are taking a lot of actions. The crime rate is down, but what we are seeing is exact opposite. So I don't know where the cameras are put, the license scanners are put. The township council has to put budget because security is the most important factor. You have to put more license. You have to catch the people. How do you catch it? Put license more. If you have 2, buy another 5 license plate scanners. Catch them. Please catch them. Otherwise, they say it's easy. Today it's Stratford, tomorrow it's another community. And please, because we're so afraid every night, but people are sleeping, not able to sleep, and every day morning, WhatsApp message they're checking whether anything happened. Please, starting today, for the next 3-4 months, have one dedicated patrolman for the Stratford. Please.
We thank you, sir, for your comments.
And
thank you.
We're going to request for a meeting with the mayor and the police chief for the Stratford community.
Yes, thank you. Sir, please.
Hello, my name is Abdul Muqtadir, 9 Robert Court, Monroe Township. The reason I'm here is to bring up a request, which is everybody knows, the fall is a colorful season, but it also brings up a lot of leaves, and people have to collect when it comes in the back and front yards. The bagging is a laborious.
Closer to the mic.
Bagging is a laborious work, and I've tried to look around and found in Westminster, for example, they have leave next to the curb collection, and they have suction trucks that from the township that comes and sucks those leaves rather than bagging. I was wondering whether or not the township will consider this issue as a.
Mr. Warren, we could certainly.
I mean, I could certainly bring it up with our
bring it up
DPW
with
director.
our-
We currently don't
Yes.
have those trucks. I don't know what the cost would be to purchase them and implement them, but I
Obviously.
could certainly mention it to him.
I understand. It's a
Mark,
cost.
I don't know if there's a DEP guideline.
Council President, I believe
But
under.
the township is doing in Westminster.
So I know you have to remove them
Council
within
President,
48
I know
hours.
there's NJDEP has stormwater permits, and it may be in violation of that, having the leaves in a gutter because they block up the storm system and get into the pipes.
We can certainly speak to DPW.
Yes,
I'll
it's
speak
something to
Weinberg will
ponder.
speak.
That's what I'm saying. It's something to go through, ponder
Mr.
this
Weinberg
whole
will speak
issue.
with the
whether or not-
director of our Department of Public Works
Yes. Okay.
and see if there is a way that he's put into practice some very interesting programs. Let us see if that is possible and reasonable.
I don't know.
And to Mark's point, just really quickly, and I've seen it done in smaller towns as well. There is a certain number of hours, I don't know how many it is, that if you do that, you have to commit to picking them up within, I think, whatever it is,
We need to
48
learn.
hours, so they don't become a stormwater issue.
Yes.
We will certainly check
Okay,
this out.
thank you.
sir.
The other
Thank
thing
you.
is the second point that I would like to bring first that I'd like to congratulate this township for allowing or giving opportunity for Muslims.org to arrange on the December 8th. There was a nice event which they had here at the township. It was very nicely done. And it was attended by Bonnie Watson and Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, and also the committee, and Jerry McClellan. So, but I was just wondering also why somehow Monroe Township newspaper missed that to bring it to the public notice.
Wait, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a township event?
No,
Yeah, so
I'm just-
I know that different nonprofit organizations in town utilize the senior center, so and we're happy to have them do that, but I don't think it was an official township event. So I think it was an event where a nonprofit used the senior center to have it, which is terrific, but it wasn't a township-sponsored event.
Yeah, we would have.
Okay, that explains
that
that.
helps.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward. Remember your name and address for our record, sir.
Kumar Thiru,
Yes.
32 Sheller Drive. I just wanted to repeat the same issue on the burglaries. I just want to see how the public and the private can basically cooperate in apprehending some of these burglars, right? Number one is we just wanted to check with the council and the mayor and the township to see if we can install these flock cameras or something of that sort, at least one or two on the street lights that are available in our streets. Right, that is number one. Number two is, as Councilman DePiero previously said, if there can be reports that are published, which includes the number of resolved issues and the number of types of cars or the types of burglaries that happen. Number three, if the township can or the police department can provide an email where folks can basically upload or send suspicious activity which happens during the night. Because most of us basically have cameras, and we can basically see some kind of cars going at 2 o'clock, and the same car coming back again at another 30 minutes on the opposite direction and things like that. So if we have an avenue where we can basically upload these videos, that probably can help the township and the police department to do certain things, right? And the last one is, can the township basically publish some of the high vulnerability areas where we have these burglaries, and so that the residents can be extra careful in basically taking additional precautions? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. As a resident of this community, I want to give my empathy to all of my fellow community members with what's going on in the society and, of course, in our community with thefts and burglaries and that sort of thing. So I think if we all gather around and become vigilant with ourselves, and then, of course, communicate with our leaders, maybe we can do something about it. So I just want to give my support for everybody who's spoken before. Going back to affordable housing, I think it was last month, or the beginning of the month, when I talked about what was in the newspaper about the affordable housing, and I was told it was inaccurate. I went to the fair housing obligations for 2025 to 2035, and on page 31, I think it mentioned about the same number. It says prospective need. That does mean it may not be what we are going to end up with, but I think the newspaper said around 750 needs for Monroe Township, and that is what is featured in the state document. So,
I think all we said, we didn't say it wasn't in the document. It's just not a binding number.
you said it didn't, you said I was incorrect, but
It's not a binding number.
It's not a binding number,
Correct.
but there's a difference. The number is there at 750, which is
No.
the number I
And-
pointed.
And I apologize if you misunderstood what I said. It's not correct that it was a binding number. You said the state established our number, but they didn't.
Well, so what does it mean that it's in the state document?
The state advisory, we get to
Okay.
set our number on January 31st. So I apologize if I
Correct. So,
confused you by
but-
saying
but
the
I
number
mentioned-
was wrong, but I'm just saying.
That
it
I
wasn't.
mentioned that it was in the newspaper, and you said the newspaper got it wrong. But in any
It
case,
did.
it doesn't matter. My question is, I asked last time about how many affordable housing units were delivered and built in the third round. Now, we're going into the fourth round for everybody else to understand, but in the third round, I was told approximately 30%. So my question, an ancillary question to that, or additional question is, what is the number of market rate residential units that have been delivered under the affordable housing unit?
Well, for the second round, we're still completing units in Stratford. So there's probably another 100 units or so in Stratford that are part of second round affordable housing over by the senior center.
And those are the market rates.
Those are the market rate units.
And how about the third round? I think a lot of the
Right. Yeah, I'm
third
gonna-
rounds have been delivered.
If I could, yeah. So on the third round, I'll have to get you an exact number, but it's not that much farther past the approximately 30%, because as our attorney mentioned last time, there's a very specific COA schedule that you have to stick to in terms of how many market rate units you can do, and so it's within that framework. I can look it up because I don't have it on me.
I think the public
Sure.
should be aware of the
100%.
exact figure.
It's within-
And I think it's 4-to-1, isn't it? They can put 4 market rate units to 1 affordable? Or that's our obligation?
I'll let Lou, Council President, you want me to answer, or Lou?
Sure. Well, the answer is that each one of these developments had different obligations, right? So the percentages were different. So I think what Alan is saying is that under COA rules, which govern the third round, there is a scale. So when you build X number of market rate units, you have to build X number of affordable units. So if only 30% of the affordables have been built, that means that approximately 30% of the market rate houses have been built.
But the market
number
rates-
of houses is different.
That's okay. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking
It is because
about.
there are more market rate houses than there are
Right.
affordable houses.
About 4-to-1.
Well, yeah.
By the end, yes, by the end of the whole
It's
project.
a 4-to-1 ratio.
Correct.
Okay.
Overall, yes.
Direct line, but the
850
answer
and
is yes.
Correct.
30,
So I think the community is entitled to an exact figure instead of a percentage as to what has already been. And we'll just keep it to the third round, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You said that we still have 100 to build.
Approximately
on the second
100.
round. So my point is, and I don't have the exact figure, but I do have the documents at home, we're putting thousands of units in to fulfill our obligation of the hundreds of affordable housing. People need to understand that. Again,
the state requires that, yes.
I understand that the state requires it, but also,
And the 4-to-1 ratio also changed for the fourth round.
and what is it now?
So it allows us to set it, so it could be 30%, which would make it only 3-to-1.
Well, I think it should be, and that was in the third round as well, but we didn't force
No,
that.
it actually was. Well, here's the problem. So the problem is that the third round was controlled by the courts. So the courts were not approving settlements at 30%. They were only approving them up to 20%. Now we have, once again, under the new affordable housing law, we have more control over that.
Okay, I would just like to ask the community to go to this website, Fair Housing Obligation. It's from the state, and it's a 43-page document that we should all be aware of because it is significantly affecting our community. And I wish you all a happy New Year and a happy holiday. Thank you.
Can you open the door for the mayor? Can you open the door for the mayor? I just want to hand out the...
May I ask have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All the,